and welcome to Survivor JJC, except tonight it is Survivor JEC. My name is Colleen.
I'm Jamie.
Oh, Elena, you're muted again. Well, that's Elena. I swear she was talking
right
just a moment ago.
You're right here.
We heard her. Jack is feeling under the weather tonight, so he is going to bed early. Elena, nope, you're still muted. Let me see if I can unmute you. Oh, your mic is not connected.
I got it. I'm here.
There you go. Hooray!
I'm here and I'm clear.
Yay! Ooh. And your phone is getting an Amber Alert? No, I'm just kidding.
No. Just wait.
Oh gosh. Yes, so Elena is stepping in for Jack, although he did send me his top 5 picks for when we get to that portion.
Smart guy. Don't leave it to me.
I believe you did okay for him last season. I don't think you did.
Maybe one out of every 5 times. Yeah, I did all right.
Yeah. There we go. Anyway, a bit of a I want to say exciting episode, but I don't know what the right word is here because it was a nail biter.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It made me scared.
It was edited really weirdly, like oddly. At one point I was like, is Jam Jam just like, acting? Because we know that he's acted before with Carolyn, that they've done a bit, but like she looked genuinely freaked out. And then like she turned to them and said, "What the F" at the end.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention for everybody joining us live. I am podcasting like it's 2019 again. My mother is visiting in town because tomorrow Zachary has a concert and a baseball game, so she is going to both. And I am in Jay's studio, so lots of things to look at behind me.
That's fine. I'm in my garage for no logical reason.
Oh,
There's
cool.
no excuse. I'm just here.
Well, you know what? The lighting is good, so.
All right. Win.
Really all that matters. The lighting in here, I feel like, is very off. Like, I'm looking, I'm like, I don't look like me.
You're not hitting at the right angles.
Anyways, okay, yeah, this episode was kind of intense.
Yeah.
What did you guys think?
It was a little weird. I went into the episode actually looking to pay attention to Jamie because I caught one of Danny's exit interviews. And he spent a lot of time talking about how Jamie's edit is BS and that she is actually incredibly intelligent and is the one who's taught everybody at camp how to do the things they do at camp. And had a really good read on a lot of the players. So when we saw the whole thing with the like, oh, I had a fake idol, or I had an idol and it went out with Kane or whatever, she didn't know it was fake.
Yeah.
But that kind of explains like why everyone was like, no, I don't believe her, right? Because
so that's when you were like, okay, there's no way this chick is winning because
like apparently she is a much better player than what the storytellers are allowing. Shocker. It's shocking. I know that is a shocking twist.
I can say like not someone who pays attention that much and definitely doesn't take notes during an episode. I kind of lost track of the fact that Heidi was left so vulnerable in this episode and after Danny left last one. So it seemed like an inevitability that Heidi would be such a target. And she believed herself to be at the end.
Yeah.
And totally
not a single
H came to fruition and burnt idol, but it just goes to show you how the edit plus their experiences and the score they're keeping maybe on the beach is so different than what we see. I found that just very interesting because I hadn't been really. I knew the Tika tribe. It's Tika, so that's the story of the season.
Absolutely.
There's so many characters on that season, but you kind of lose track of the non-Tika weighing. And I thought that, Heidi was the obvious target, and Heidi thought she was the obvious target too. But at the end of the day, it didn't, come out that way. So I thought that was very interesting from start to finish of this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
I hate too that she burned her idol without
not me. I was just gonna say, no matter what, even if everything, like Elena said, didn't I would have played it anyway.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly. You could tell like nobody was trusting what anybody was doing. So I feel really bad that she burned it like without there actually being a target to like. I guess I've just become so used to everybody knowing who has an idol. So like the obvious motive is always like, let's flush the idol out. Right. It's not that often that we actually get to see an idol played for nothing and then nobody even knew that it existed to begin with. So I was kind of bummed, but she didn't make the wrong move. I feel like she needed to play it. Like you said, I would have. Everyone was being really sketchy.
She had all the reason to play it and none of the reasons not, given what she knew about the game. And I think that, we see so many times where someone in that position makes the wrong move. And I was just proud that she made the right move, given what she knew about what was going on and who she could trust.
Yes.
We don't know who she could trust until the votes were called. And then we saw it in hindsight.
Yeah. The thing that did worry about, so Carolyn had the plan. It was basically Carolyn was like, no, Carolyn and Carson were like, we have to stay Tika strong. Right. And we had like, whatever from Jam Jam. And like, is this enough to see Jam Jam's like, was it presented tonight to show us that if he ends up winning, he's a very flawed winner? Because while he has a social game,
yes,
like tonight was like literally like Carolyn's like coming out
right
episode of like as a strategic threat, like as we tend to get. And like for Jam Jam, was he just giving all that, like was that just a foil for Carolyn's edit's sake, or like do you think that he really was freaking out that much and changed his vote to Jamie at the very end because he felt really bad about like the look on Carolyn's face or something? Because he's a compassionate person, and I could see him also being somebody who changes their vote at the last minute because they just can't do that to their friend or whatever. But do you think he went to Tribal planning to vote for Carolyn or planning to vote for Jamie? Like, and is it Carson? Is Carson get the credit for flipping him, or does Carolyn get the credit for the move?
I don't know. With Jam Jam is so confusing to me because doesn't it feel like every single week is the week he's going to turn on Tika? Like every single week, I'm convinced that he's going to flip every week.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's just saying it to like get an interesting story going with production, or you know what I mean? Sometimes you're going to have to say certain things that you're not actually going to do because you need to have a little leverage in your story.
Yeah.
And then he can pull that through. He does seem savvy enough to understand that we see a lot of winners who we don't think deserve the win because we're like, where's the win? How did this happen? So I guess he could be like just saying some of these things and making it sound like he feels them more than he really does, just so he has that leverage if he's sitting in the winner's circle.
Right.
I think I kind of sniffed a little Jesse move here. Like this is his opportunity to turn on his tribe and do what he needs to do to be the good player he has the ability and knowledge and foresight to be. But he just didn't execute. And I don't know if that's because he's waiting for the right opportunity. Next week will tell us, or he's just not capable of doing it. And he's right in either regard. He's like a human being, and we all recoiled when we saw Jesse do it and felt like, wow, like
I don't know. We were in the room with Jesse when that aired. None of us recoiled.
But it's at the same time, like that's what it takes. And
right.
I know that he knows that it's just that whatever other motivation, maybe it's not what Jesse had, like the fire burning from his family and everything else to like drive him over the edge, but it feels like they're both at that point where they know what it takes, and it's just, do I or don't I, can I or can't I? And it's just so interesting to see season back to back without them seeing each other do it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, do I do it? Do I make that move? Am I a villain? Which Jesse didn't see it that way. He knew he was in a game and he wanted to win, and he knew he was doing it for the right reasons. I feel like, you know, Jam has that knowledge, but it's just maybe lacking that little bit of push to get him to that point to throw Carolyn.
What argument do you think could have been presented to him? Like, I mean, if you were to say Carson was the one, or even Carolyn, because odds are the argument would be similar. What is the argument of now's not the time to get rid of Carolyn? She still has to go, but we can't get rid of our numbers right now.
I think it's just time, right? It's like, is this the week to do it? Is this the vote to do it? Or do I carry this one more week and, you know, do I have my ally for one more week, or do the rest is a little bit less dependable? And I think it's just buying time. It's at the end of the day, it's the moment you decide that is the move I make at the right, it has to feel right. I'm not having ever been there, but it has to feel like that is the do or die moment. And I guess tonight was not his night.
Right. Well, and also I think that there was a very good argument to be made that they had to, like, at this point, they backed themselves into a corner where they had to stay Tika strong. And there was no reason to believe that it wasn't going to be Jam that ends up at fire against Heidi or Lauren or Jamie at the end. Like, if one of them breaks ranks, then it's over. Then, you know, the next, it's going to be another one of the three of them that goes home next.
Right.
And I think that he had to weigh the option, which, you know, of self-preservation, you know, to get to the final 5 or final 4 versus, you know, like, he didn't have the luxury of making the big move because his position in the tribe and the situation he was in was different than what Jesse was in last season.
Yeah.
So.
And I think he has, the numbers were, he was able to split up a tribe at this point with one vote, right? He could get rid of Jamie and Lauren was on her own. Heidi was on her own.
Right.
Still have the numbers. And maybe despite the fact that they played up Carolyn's move last episode and gave her more credit, maybe he still thinks his game is stronger regardless of whether she's in the game or not. Even if she makes it to the end, yeah, Jam may feel like he still has a leg up on her, which I feel like Jesse didn't think he had, and that's why he did what he did last season.
Yes. I think he might have a better ally in Heidi moving forward too than he would have had if Jamie was still in. Let's say Lauren went. I don't think he'd have the ally in Heidi that he would want to have. I think getting rid of Jamie was like a really important part of him getting Heidi, because she's mentioned a few times. She keeps saying his name, Carolyn's name, Carson's name. I want to work with these guys. So I could easily see them doing a swap and you know, where they, in their head, they think, okay, we can take Heidi instead of Carolyn.
Mm-hmm.
And it would work in Jam's favor more than Carolyn would, because I feel like Carolyn is just a tad bit more loyal to Carson.
Yeah, I don't know. The one thing that I would disagree with you there is Heidi might say she's in with them, but Heidi's not stupid. She knows that she can beat Lauren and Jamie.
I think Heidi's going to make whatever move she needs to make to move forward, because she might be somewhat emotionally invested, but they are like friendly acquaintances. Like, she is.
Yeah, I don't think
she's not going to like be like swayed by emotion that she can't put someone's name down. She's just going to go with whatever's going to get her the next week.
Yes. Oh, speaking of Heidi, she had a great tweet tonight, this afternoon, reminding us all of some of the more groundbreaking demographics of the final 6. We had 4 people of color, 4 women, 2 men.
Yes.
Multiple members of the LGBTQ plus community. So it really was a very kind of cool to break it down statistically. I'm sure everybody out there listening saw her tweet or whatever, but I thought that was really cool. And I wanted to bring it up before I forgot because I thought that was cool. I'm old enough, you guys are probably watched Survivor longer than me, to remember when it was a big deal in One World when it was all women in the final 5 because they got rid of Tarzan at the final 6.
It's impressive enough right now when you look at how many women we have sitting there still.
Or female final 3, whatever. I'm not, somebody fact check me.
It was like 3 or 4. But to have as many females in the end on this season, where at the beginning of this season, there was like so much internet chatter about how the game is not fair for women in the first half and everyone's just a clean sweep. And then you look at the season, was it the season before it, where it was like one woman after another woman after another woman after another woman, and it just kept going. So
I mean, the game statistically is not fair to women in the beginning.
Not in the beginning, but guess what? They're there at the end, and that's what really counts. So.
Okay, anyway, sorry, getting back to this. Did you guys think that it was going to be Jamie or Carolyn? Did you fall for the soap opera at Tribal Council, the tears?
Yeah, I did, for sure.
Well, it was so funny because, in my household, who did not fall for it? Alex. She was like, it's going to be Jamie.
Wait, was Alex yelling for the orange team to win during the ball race?
No, he was doing something in his room with my mom in and out throughout the episode. But then she came downstairs after the immunity challenge. She went downstairs to get ready for bed. And Alex had showered and been ready for bed before the Survivor started. So he came and watched then post challenge and Tribal Council with us.
The whole time I was thinking about how there's no way that your boys could be switching which team they were picking for because it was such a clean sweep.
Oh, I know. Oh, I'm so sorry. He came out because Zachary was watching the reward challenge with me.
It was like a 3-mile difference. I mean, he was way at the end of the road. Carolyn was wandering in the jungle.
She wasn't. I know.
Jamie's ball had pieces of forest stuck to it. It was a mess.
Oh my God. I know that was a little bit of a mess. That wasn't even close.
It was a mess.
Okay. I know I've got to be forgetting something about this. Let me. Oh, what about Carolyn wanting to smell Jam Jam's burp?
Yeah, ew.
The only part my mom saw. She was like, ew, gross.
But to be fair, Carolyn did say that I'm kind of grossed out that I did that. She had regrets.
Yes. Oh my God. That was really funny.
So gross.
All right. What was I missing about... what am I missing here? Because we got a whole lot of don't judge a book by its cover, which is what we've all been saying about Carolyn all along.
Well, I think the first maybe third of the episode was focused on Carolyn, right?
Yes.
Carolyn owned last vote. She owned her idol usage. She was putting a huge target on her back. And then
once she started, she couldn't stop, just laying it all out.
Jam just took it, ran with it, and tried to use that to convince everyone, including, the viewers, that that's the direction we're going, right? That's where we're at.
It's pretty bad when your own alliance member is not like, you just painted a picture that you need to go.
And if it wasn't for Carson to kind of steer it a little bit back and, reset. But I think the whole episode was a very Carolyn centric, storytelling, right? It's her resume giving her, credit for what happened last vote, giving her all the, reason to vote her out, but then at the end, saving her, by whatever negotiation happened. So I think, not to get too into the edit, but I think it was a very Carolyn-centric story.
And that's why I got kind of nervous. That's why I got kind of nervous.
Well,
those of us who have seen this before, we know that's a doomsday. Like that's the doomsday edit, right? You feel like 2/3 of it through, forget it. She's going home. But it turned out like, so what do we think at the end of the full episode that she survives? Is that?
But is this the fallen angel edit?
It could be. It's almost too close to the end to be the winner edit, right?
Yeah, like, I kind of feel the
two
same.
Episodes in a row where you get this good of an edit, and then go on to win. It seems like this is her glory moment, but she's, we have another 3 hours of Survivor to is it going to be Lauren? Like,
I don't know, but if it
I don't think that's
being,
possible. I think it's Carson or Jam Jam. Like
that wins,
there's
or that's
no other option.
Or that's Fallen Angel.
That you think is in the final two?
No, I feel like
okay.
I mean, if we're looking forward, like who can go past this episode and get a winner edit that's worthy of the season?
Yes. Yeah, you're right. It's got to be either Jam Jam or Carson.
It has to be Tika.
But also
it's definitely Tika, I think. And now that they've actually proved that they could stick together for the final 5, I think
that's
it
the
would
big
be
thing.
Egregious if it wasn't a Tika.
Unless they know that they can't, like Tika's become so strong that they're going to combust. They can't survive against even each other. Like they don't have a strong enough story to compete.
I don't know. I think they could each make a case for themselves, because after this week, all of a sudden, Carolyn, everybody knows. Jam Jam can make a case, because he even said it again tonight. Like, if you write my name down, you went home.
You're going home.
He said it again tonight. So he could make a case for that. And Carson has been consistently giving us, through confessionals, what he's doing. And he's really smart, that he could easily make a case for himself, too. So I think that if all 3 Tika go to the end, I think that it will be we're either going to have a blowout where it's going to be unanimous, or I think it could be where, it's close in the vote. That would be exciting, right?
That
if it was actually close.
The best ending, best.
Absolutely.
Well, Carolyn winning would be the best, however she gets there. But.
Honestly, any of the 3 getting there and the 3 of them battling out, to me, is like pure and honest, idealistic Survivor. I would love and hope to see that. Like that's my prayer, that we see that.
Out of those 3, who do you think would have the best option?
I don't know.
Jam Jam for the final competition? I mean, he's the only one so far that's really shown how. I don't know. I mean, if it's endurance, I think Jam Jam can hold out.
Yeah. Didn't we have a theory a few weeks ago that, several weeks ago at this point, that Carson was going to have to go to fire because we keep getting the images in his glasses of him with the fire?
Yeah. Fire. Always Carson and fire. Yep.
I could see it being Carson versus Carolyn in fire.
Yeah. Well, apparently Carolyn has practiced so much that she made herself bleed.
True.
So
that was either new information or something that I never know.
Well,
never picked up on, but I was really happy to see that her preparedness was.
Yes, Carol, that doesn't surprise me that she would be so obsessive with something that she would do it until her hands are bleeding.
True.
That checks out very much so.
It does. But I mean, that's like the best case scenario as a viewer. I can't wait next week to see, the 3 of them state their cases, because I think they all have really great stories. And I think we've got so much invested in the 3 of them. And that's to say, Heidi is like my avatar for this season as a person. Like I identify very closely with her, and I'm really proud of the game she's played. And I think
Yeah.
she's been strong. She's made some moves that weren't great, but here she is. Lauren, I loved her going into the season. I really admire her single mom story. I applaud her just to earn it and win it. Just as a person, I want her to win.
But my kids are rooting for her because she's an elementary teacher,
and that.
And they relate to that
too. I mean, I feel like everyone, I can make a case for every single one. Thankfully, I don't have to. That's not my job, just to sit here and enjoy the season. But I think as a viewer, just to see the three Tika, as far as they've come together to just have to face the fact, we thought we saw it this episode. We didn't have to see Jam Jam, pull a rug out from under his teammate, or his tri-mate. But I think at the end of the day, it would be a very interesting, maybe different. I don't remember the last time we had someone from such an underdog tribe overcome that and have to compete against each other in the final 2 or 3 or wherever we end up next episode.
Yeah. It's gonna be a crazy episode. I truly, if all 3 can get there, because somebody would have to survive fire.
Yep. See, here's my theory about the final 3 being Tika, and this is based off of the amount of enthusiasm and hype that Jeff put out there about this season. Like, he was so excited about this season, he could not stop talking. I mean, he always has to. He is a hype man for the show, right? But I mean, there was something different this year where he's like, it's going to blow your mind. It's so great. It's one of the best seasons we've had for years.
That's because a contestant said outwardly, "I'm mad at you."
But if you think about Tika and who they represent in social society as a whole, this is Jeff's dream trio. So, I mean, even though they're you got Carolyn, who's terrible at competitions, Jam Jam is putting the work out there. Carson's putting the work out there. I mean, tonight in that competition when he was in the ball and giving them the directions, it was so good. So yeah, I'm just off of Jeff energy. It's got to be Tika, right? It's got to be.
I hope so.
I hope so too. I really do. I mean,
even if it's, oops, sorry.
No. I think for all the reasons we've already said, it's just, we're not just talking a single underdog. We're talking about a tribe of 3 who have
3 underdogs.
Point, one of the 3 of them could have succumbed to the Dannies and the, and the whole.
And the Jamies, apparently.
And the Jamies. Yeah. Right. The things we don't get to see, and the twists and everything else, that they stayed intact. And even in a situation like tonight, where we saw Jam Jam making that, he's speaking out loud to us as I know this has to happen, but tonight's not the night, or what appears to be his, reasoning. It just, you just have to hope that comes to the point, or it equates to the point where we'll see them toe to toe, and that just makes it for such an exciting finale.
Well, yeah, and it's like you said too, Colleen, watching a steamroll, watching a majority steamroll everybody else isn't always the most exciting thing to watch.
But watching underdogs,
right? It's a different breed, right? But then when you are in the game, you stick with the numbers. Always stick with the numbers. Don't leave the numbers. Stick with them. And I think Jam Jam is smart enough that regardless of emotion, I think Jam Jam is smart enough to go stick with the numbers.
Well, and think about what Heidi did tonight, because for the first time, maybe ever, right, I looked at who voted for who at the end of the day, and Heidi stuck with the Tika numbers, not even knowing or counting on the fact that Tika themselves were sticking with Tika. So
stick with the numbers.
You have to take that chance. You have
Great point.
Either there's a lot we didn't see, or you just go with you go with the numbers, and that was the end result, that you had Heidi on the Tika side and, you know, split Lauren and Jamie, and Jamie's out.
Yeah. If you just heard that loud noise, it's because I just kicked a garbage can by accident. I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was there. It's a metal one, so if you heard that, I'm sorry. Yes, but I totally agree, and I think Jeff would also be excited if we had. I think any combination of people who are left in this game in the final 3 would make Jeff excited.
I think so too. It's just not the most stereotypical, you know, end result. We're not going to get the big brawny white guy winning. That's just
right.
Sorry,
yeah,
Gary.
But also he's been giving us a lot. It's great because we have sort of awkward personalities, so we're getting these really great, like, awkward, like, torch snuffs. That's like that's joy for me.
I wasn't here last episode, but I feel like on how cringy that was.
Oh my God, I love it. And then tonight,
did you see it at all? You have to just watch. It's so cringy.
You
so
have
funny.
to actually
Jamie leaving. Oh yeah, I saw it. I commented on it.
Are you snubbing out my torch?
Oh, it was the worst. Like,
yeah, go back and watch it. Oh my God.
No, I don't want to go back.
You have to.
Once is enough.
You have to go back.
No, she's good. She's seen it once.
I'm good. I'm good.
No, I loved Jamie's, like, exit tonight though, with like, love you too, Jeff. Yeah. Like, thanks. Thanks, Jamie.
Okay, so speaking of the players being really smart, you know how we've talked about how if players are now like 3D printing puzzles and like getting those puzzles in the game where they're solving them super quickly, don't you think maybe you should switch it up, format up a little bit if they're literally bringing everything from camp with them to tribal because they know they're going to a new beach?
They know.
And especially thanks to Matt and his can somebody bring my bag?
Oh my gosh.
So
yeah.
That was so smart though. That was so crazy smart to do that.
I didn't appreciate it until Jeff said, "Oh, and by the way, you know, good for you."
You're already prepared.
Clearly they're paying more attention than I am, despite the fact that I'm watching every week and hours of podcasts every week.
You know that next season production is going to have a rule where they're going to say you can't bring anything to tribal but one bag. And you know that.
Twists to a certain extent, true, but you know, you have to be aware that they're paying attention. They have every right. And if they're not paying attention to, you know, every season in 44, they're paying attention to the last 2, right? Or last 1.5 that they saw. So, you know, good on them for acknowledging that, for responding to that. But, I mean, it just, we need to change. The game needs to change to be relevant and be exciting it's a show, right? It's not happening in isolation. It's for the sake of the viewer at the end of the day. So, you know, we hate it when they do it, but you have to appreciate it's things like this that they recognize and
power to them all the way. Seriously.
If you look at like the casting that we've had over the last few years too, we're not getting casting that's like recruits from modeling agencies. We're getting super fan after super fan after super fan.
And that
means they're paying attention.
Right. That's a decision that the casting is making, and the result for us is a benefit, right? But it also comes at a consequence, which is you have to stay fresh and sharp and to make it interesting. If we had the same smash the hourglass, because that's the only way to solve the, you know, the puzzle of super fans.
Thank God we're done with smash the hourglass.
Never again. They talked about it on Jeff's podcast. Like,
I have yet to listen to one beyond the first one.
Me neither.
I really should.
Yeah, it is like, okay, I'm gonna just tell you, it's like a fine line, right? Because you are getting like a ton of information that is kind of interesting, behind the scenes stuff, but then you're also getting Jeff like really always constantly trying to sell you those ideas, because it's just
right,
that's what he does.
Yes.
So it's a little like, you're like, oh wow, and then you're like, oh, cringe, oh okay, cool, cringe. Like, it's back and forth. But I mean, the notes about production and the set design and how they keep the sets out there. And do you remember that big like the big pirate ship thing that they started out with on that one season? Like, they were all on that pirate ship and had to jump ship with all the crates, and they had to take all that stuff.
Yeah.
I guess there was like a monsoon, and that ship like was found 7 miles out to sea, and they had to go rescue it. And
no way.
You get like a lot of really crazy, fun backstories on things, that sort of stuff. But there was an episode that was specifically around the twists and the different twists that they've done, what worked, what didn't work. The hourglass being a really big thing that Jeff held on to for years. He wanted to be able to implement it. And then finally, when it rolled around to, it was a place where, we can maybe use this idea. And then it was like a failure. And he's like, I'm the first to admit, like, never again. So
thank God.
Right. There's some really good ones in there, but then there's also things too where they're talking about the amount of days that they're out there, and he's like, that's not going to change. And the 3 players at the end, that's not going to change. So there's definitely some changes that we've seen that the fans either love or hate, but it's not going anywhere.
Right.
I feel like in that situation, all he can do is defend and justify the decisions that they make. What happens between the contestants after the casting, hopefully, we hope, right? We don't want any production involvement at that point. So all they can do is, explain
here's the rules,
their side of it. And because it's a blend. It's a blend of personalities plus what you introduce at that point, what your theme is, and what twists and turns and idols and just what you inject into the game. And it's at the end, it's all hindsight, right? You can never know what the end result is going to be at the time. It just has to come to fruition. And sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. And, the consequence. And hopefully it's not the contestants, because they're just out there doing their best. They sign up for something and they don't know what they're in for, whether it's the rest of their, the rest of the players at that time in that cast, or what persona they put themselves out there to be. So there's so much at stake when you formulate a season, and we just sit back and like critique it. And there's so much going into it. There's so much, just in that melting pot, mixing bowl of between the casting, between the people acting out what, who they are and what they think they should be, and what the production does to come to what the season ends up being. And it's just unfair for us to just pick and
they really, I mean, a lot of these people that are in production have worked together for years and years and years and years, especially in the art department. They're talking about how the production and art department is like, it's like triple lingual. It's not even bilingual, because when they used to like travel to different locations, they would pick up new crew members at all of the new locations that they were jumping to. So they were getting people from all over the globe joining up with them. So, not only do you have a set of ideas with multiple personalities coming in to try to formulate a plan for the show, you actually have multiple cultures coming in with ideas, with a plan. And it's like, and sometimes you can see that works out really well. And sometimes you can tell it's a little messy. It's a little messy.
But you know what? They did good. I think I can't complain about anybody in the cast this season. I think they got a really good blend of people. And I think that, we've talked about this before with Jack, that I personally think that Carolyn's gonna Carolyn and Jam Jam's gonna Jam Jam. Like the two of them are diamond in the rough personalities. But if you look, like, without the two of them, easily there are so many other people that could have been the stars of this season, because you had so many really great personalities. You had Jamie, who by all accounts, has been toned down a lot more. Her story could have been, her edit could have been very different. You have Heidi, who gives really good confessionals, thoughtful and smart. Danny's a huge character. Franny and Matt, and if Sling Matthew hadn't gone anywhere, and Zane,
Sling Matthew.
Zane was crazy. That dude could have really also been like this season's Carolyn, I think. Like, I think that like they did a great job with casting this season. And I want to see future casts be more like this cast, because they were fun to watch.
I agree. There's more. Sometimes you have to have a villain in these shows but the reason is that you have to have a villain because it's dry. So you have to have someone to root against. It's kind of fun to have a handful of people you're rooting for.
Well, I think that the cool thing about this season is that we root, because we're all rooting for Carolyn and rooting for Jam Jam and we're rooting for Tika, that we're rooting against people, but they're not villains.
Right. Exactly.
We're okay. We're okay in the end if they make it through, because they're not people that we hate or love to hate.
Right.
We like to root against them because we like rallying together and rooting for the Tika 3.
I totally agree. I feel like I don't think there's a villain left, honestly. No. And I don't know if I could even I don't know if there was a villain to start. Again, I don't take notes, so I don't know, and I don't play I'm not voting. So, but I'd be happy with any of the winners going out of the final 5 or 6 even. I would have been fine with any of them. I don't think we need to have a villain. We're just used to having a villain,
right?
And maybe we prefer people because we identify with them more so than others. Personally, so we cheer for our avatar or we cheer for underdogs because I'm a Cubs fan, so I cheer for the underdog. But that's just our nature. But I don't think we've had a villain in this season worth calling a villain. I think we have just some we are cheering for louder than others, but we'll all.
I think if
any of the outcomes.
I feel like if Claire would have been around for very long, I think she would have been able to be one hell of a villain. I think she would have been amazing.
And I think
she would have been a
Claire
very
would have gotten up to some. I think Claire would have had some shenanigans.
Maybe. But, even then, some people might identify. It was just because of gameplay, not
she gave great side eye. Great look.
Yes, she did. Yes.
Okay, moving over to the chat real quick. We got a couple of cool things from Sherry. It's so impressive they brought everything with them. I was thinking of you, Colleen, when it happened. I thought only Colleen would be so aware of what happens season to season. I don't know if in the moment, if I was really hungry, if I would have been aware. I might have been like, bring the rice. We could eat it like popcorn while Jam Jam's putting on his, big monologue here.
Get the subtitles.
Sherry continues, I wish they'd go back to having the finale in the auditorium. It's fun to see them all dressed up and cleaned up, and if they get back to their real lives. Yeah, I like that too. It was cool in 2020. In seasons 41 and 42, because we were still in that vibe. Like, that was the vibe of the time that we were watching it. But I feel like
right?
It's time
now
to
we want to be out, right? We want to be out. We want to go to social events and see each other all cleaned up and dressed up for the 9th. So
exactly. Yes. And then she finishes with, have you noticed that Carolyn has been using the tribe paint to paint her nails? I hadn't, but I love that.
I absolutely love that you said that, because I have it in my notes with a question mark. Carolyn's fingernails are a different color? ? because they did a close-up. She chews on her nails a lot, so we get a lot of shots of her chewing on her nails.
Yeah.
And I remember looking last week, and I was like,
which
man,
now I'm doing because you said it.
See, her fingernail polish was like worn about halfway down her nails. And I remember thinking to myself, hey, that's pretty good given the fact that they're out there and it's like day 20, whatever, like, and she still has half of that fingernail polish. And then tonight I see her and she's got all of this, they're all painted, and thanks for noticing. I'm so glad someone else noticed it.
I want a scene in which they're all giving each other mani-pedis with that tri-paint.
Yes.
I like enough with the yoga on the beach. Give me a good old-fashioned beach mani-pedi at a reasonable hour that's not dawn scene, please.
I would watch it.
Yeah. Okay, any last thoughts on this week's episode? Otherwise, we have an email from Mandy, and we will get into the tally the votes. Lena, you are free to make predictions if you'd like to.
Well, all I have to say is I have 11 pages of notes, and we didn't talk about much of what happened during the episode.
That's a good point. Okay, go ahead.
But I'm glad that I was super focused because I feel like I could have a conversation about it that I wasn't normally capable of having. But it's just, it's a totally different experience paying this much attention, being prepared for talking about it than just going home and listening about it. But awesome, you guys. Appreciate you every week. Love tuning in to hear you guys commentate. And Jack, miss you this week. But happy to be
thank
here.
you. We love when we get to talk to you. Jack should be absent more often.
Well,
yeah, bring it in the
inside. Take many notes, I guarantee it.
No, he definitely does not. You know, it's funny. I'm glad that you two took such great notes, because the more that the kids watch with us, the louder it is. That it's tough for me to, because I'm always going shh. That I feel like my attention over the last 2 seasons has been not as great, because I'm constantly being like, shh, stop it. Stop talking. I can't hear.
You definitely have an appreciation. I did have a new appreciation for the show and every like blow by blow, moment by moment when you're looking for something versus just kind of absorbing it and chatting and, you know, we're amongst friends and barely keeping on with subtitles. But also every way to watch Survivor is a good way to watch Survivor.
That's very, very true.
If it's your, you know, if you're following along, taking notes, and you're just watching with friends, or if you're watching friends watch Survivor, because we've done that before too. We've tried to at Raleigh Brewing, where we watch every few weeks when we can get together. We kind of recruit people who are just barely watching what's happening on the TV. Like, come on, you know you want to watch. Just pay attention and you'll get hooked just like the rest of us.
Yeah. Okay, but is there anything from your 11 pages of notes that you wanted to address?
No. I mean, I thought that the idol hunt was interesting.
I forgot about that. Yeah, so Heidi got, I have it in my own notes too, but yeah, Heidi got up before dawn to go search for an idol, and they busted her real quick.
Yep.
That everybody else did.
Now, do you think that they thought that she played the idol she played came from that dawn search?
I bet they do. I wonder, like, if they ask and I wonder what she says. Someone's going to ask her. So what does she lie, or does she tell the truth? And does it matter?
I don't think it matters at this point when there's 5 left.
I mean, if you had like, if you said, oh no, this is an idol I had before, you know, merge. Does that make a little bit more of a target? Like, oh, you're sneaky, right?
I feel like Carson went out after her because he realized that Carolyn had played her idol and that an idol was back in the game.
Yeah.
So does he care if she found Carolyn's idol or already had one? So I don't know
if she does say, yeah, I found it, that will keep people from looking so thoroughly.
Maybe. Yeah.
So maybe it does matter.
It could play in that way, depending on, you know, if they even think to ask or if she is honest about the answer.
She should have said that Jamie gave it to me.
Yeah. Jamie gave me Matt's idol. Right, Matt? It was Matt's idol, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that the reward challenge was interesting with the blind table maze.
I actually really like that challenge.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the table maze, as table mazes go, was easy, but they were blindfolded. Agreed. So, then Yam Yam with the whole twist, the sanctuary, which gave me my menu for next week.
Are you having a
finale party? Coming to finale next week at my house.
Maybe I'll be there. We're not recording until Thursday.
No, I hope you will. Tell Zach there will be sandwiches, fruit, and mackerel at the Casanova Sanctuary. No massages. No, that's where we draw the line.
Zachary will he'll agree to give a massage. That kid loves
Zach is providing massages. I'm down with that. Or well, maybe not. Sorry, he's a kid.
It's not weird. Don't worry.
You know what I mean. It's all good. Then just the end. Tika, do they break up? Do they not? And at the end of the day, votes tallied. They continue to be a force to be reckoned with. They bring Heidi on, as their plus one, so 4-2, and Jamie falls. Those are my notes.
There you go.
There you go.
They were good notes.
Hey, well, there was summarized 11 pages down to.
They served you well.
They served me well.
They served us all well.
Well, I had to stay on track. Otherwise, I'd be all over the place.
All right, let's take a quick break. We will come back. We have an email from Mandy. We'll do the tally of votes, and then we'll see you all next Thursday for the finale recap. Okay, here we go. All right, we're back, and we're going to kick this off with an email from Mandy titled See You Friday. So this weekend is the meetup, and I think the three of us and Mandy and Sherry and Jack will all be in the same place this weekend. So that's pretty cool. Woohoo! Mandy says, Maddie asked me tonight, who are the people demoing the challenge? I explained the dream team, and now encouraging her to be that when she grows up. Sounds like a pretty cool career.
Right?
Did Carolyn use the flag paint to do her nails? Oh, she noticed nails.
Yes.
If not, I need to know what gel polish she uses. So that's why they brought the paintbrushes with them, because Carolyn needed to continue to get
her nails looking good.
That sand is really rough on the fingers, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maddie
fire making.
Yes. Yes. Maddie totally thought Carolyn was going home. I failed as a parent because Carolyn is winning this game, and it has about 14 exclamation points. I didn't count, but it seems like that many. In seasons past, for the final tally, you each pick who is 1 to 5 placement, and if you're right, you get a point for each. Okay.
Oh, okay, good. She took notes. She took notes. See, she remembers.
I'm so glad, because I didn't, and I said I would. I vowed it, but I broke that vow. I mean, to be fair, I had a bit of an issue with my.
It was a day. It was a night last night that led to a day today. I'm very tired. Oh, I didn't even tell you guys that after that whole water coming through the ceiling thing, Alex woke up screaming with shin splints. It was like 45 minutes. I didn't get back into bed until 1:30, and by then I was like kind of like hyped. I got stung by a yellow jacket the other day. While cleaning for the power washing, I stumbled across a yellow jacket's nest that's in my backyard. I got stung. I'm allergic to them, so I didn't sleep on Monday night because I took the Benadryl. Those bennies put me out real early, but then like they wore off by like 2 a.m, and then I was convinced it was 5 a.m, so I didn't want to take more. Oh my god!
Because I didn't want to then like sleep through like wake up time.
Yep.
And I was just in pain for hours. And my leg yesterday was double the size of my other leg. It was so bad. I had pants on at one point. And I looked in the mirror and it was like my left leg was like a python had swallowed something, and my right leg.
You had this happen before, like geocaching
twice before. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like we've had a geocaching incident before.
2 geocaching incidents in which I stumbled upon Yellow Jackets' nest.
Oh my God!
Thank God I saw them as soon as I moved. They were in the wood that's for the fire pit, and I moved them because I was moving everything out of the way for the power washing. And thank God, after I moved the first 2 and I went back to move the rest, I noticed they were there, and I was far enough away that I thought I was safe, but then, I felt it sting me, and I was like, oh, this isn't going to be good later. But yet it's, 6:30 at night, and I have to finish. I have to finish before it gets dark and the snakes come out. So,
see how the karma plays out when you rescue a snake. Just saying, see what happens.
Anyway, so whatever. So I didn't sleep on Monday. I didn't sleep on Tuesday. I'm incredibly tired now, so I'm gonna go to sleep as soon as this episode is posted.
Wrap it up.
Anyway, yeah, let's wrap it up. So, anyway, okay, point for each. I swear to God, we did more points as it got in. I know we did more points as it got in.
Like the closer we got to it, they'd be worth more points, right? Like each one in was worth more. So, okay, should we make this like really easy where it's like there's 5? So the first one's 1 point, the second one's 2, you know what I mean? And then you go to the last one and that's the 5 point?
Maybe. I'm looking at the tally the votes for
Is that what we did?
Season 43 right now. And okay, this is what we did. Okay. So 5th place was 1 point.
Right.
4th place was worth 2 points.
Yep. Okay.
3rd place was 3. 4th was 4. Second was 4. First was 5 points. So
5.
we did it like that. Okay. And Jay had the rule that you had to get them in order to get all the points. We changed the rules, I think, where you got the points if you got that person. So, like, for instance, I had Carla in 5th, Jesse in 4th, Gabler in 3rd, Owen in 2nd, Cassidy in 1st. I would have gotten points for Jesse being in 4th. And that was it because the rest didn't. Yeah.
You just have to match. You don't have to.
You have to match it to get the points. So, yes. Okay. So, I am actually going to copy and paste the one from last year because all of the colors are in order.
There you go.
Let me share the screen here. In the meantime, though. There we go. 44. Tally votes. All right. As far as Jamie goes, for last season, I've got to figure out where I am here. Okay, this is 43. This is 44. Okay. Sorry. Got a lot of tabs open all of a sudden. So Jamie Jo had her pre-merge. Jack and I had her merge. So Jack and I both get points. So that means Jack has 8 points and I have 8 points. So we are tied now as far as that goes. As far as last week, I had Lauren, Jack had Carolyn, Jamie had Jam Jam. So none of us had, what's her name going home?
Jamie,
thank you. Going home. And yeah, so as far as nobody gets any points for that. So as far as who's going home for this week, let me, here you go. Nope. All right. So I will start with Jack because he sent them to me here on Facebook. So Jack has Heidi in 5th. Actually, Jamie, can you read them out? Are you in the Facebook so I can type it while?
I can be in just a shake of a lamb's tail. I'll tell you what it is.
Get your shake of the lamb's tail, and I will type it as you read it because I think that will be easier to make this go quicker. Okay.
All right. Jack has Heidi for 5.
Okay.
Lauren for 4.
Okay.
Carson for 3.
Okay.
Carolyn for 2.
Oh.
And Jam Jam as 1.
All right. I can go, Jamie, unless you want to go.
Whichever.
You go ahead then. Go ahead.
I have
Lauren. Mine set, so nothing you say is going to change me.
All right. I've got Lauren for 5.
Okay.
Jam Jam for 4.
Oh, wow. You think he's going out at fire, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Heidi for 3.
Okay.
Carolyn 2. Carson for win.
Oh. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So I also have Lauren for 5. I have Heidi for 4, although I am uncomfortable with that decision because I do think, you know what? I'm switching my Carson and Carolyn. I'm sorry, my Carson and Heidi. I had originally Heidi at 4, Carson at 3. I'm going to do Carson at 4 because I really think the fire in the glasses that we've gotten like 17 times is indicating something. I think Heidi will be in 3rd. I'm going to put Jam Jam in 2nd, and I'm going with Carolyn for the win. I usually, now, you know, guys, that I have, whoever I put as my winner's pick, I do the strategy of
you spreadsheet it. Yep.
I always spreadsheet it. I'm going to make a huge gamble this year and go outside of my comfort zone and do Carolyn for both because look, if I'm talking about you in therapy, then you're going to be my winner's pick across the board. That's it.
We need her to win. I mean, I know I have Carson for my win, and I really go back and forth between he and Carolyn, but my heart is with Carolyn winning. Like, it really is.
Yes.
As we're all winners this season.
So say we all.
And they are, so points be damned. I think any of those outcomes are great as viewers, and I could say that because I didn't have to make a decision.
But hey, why don't you let us know?
No stakes riding on it.
Can you just toss one out there? Do you have a loosey-goosey list that you could throw out there?
Come on.
You know what? To be honest with you, I was a little anxiety thinking I might have to do it, and I'm glad I didn't because honestly, I mean, again, I feel like Heidi has been my personal avatar. I'd love to see her win from like just so many similarities as us as people. Did she have the best game? Does she have the best story? Probably not. I love the Tika story. And I'd be happy with any of the 3 coming out of that, honestly. And Lauren, I was preseason, just her story coming in was great. So not to be a wishy-washy person, but I'm totally happy with any of them coming out.
Who do you think out of Tika? Out of those 3, who would you pick for your winner's pick?
Who would I pick out of my winner?
No, out of the 5. Give us out of the 5 left. Who do you think's
winning? No, I think my winner would come out of Tika. I think that makes the best story of the season. So I'm, any other preconceived preseason notions aside, I feel like Tika's got to win it to make it the best of the best. Mm-hmm. I think Carolyn has had the greatest edit. I think she has just been so much of a favorite. I think her character is so different and new. I feel like Carolyn is the best avatar for the season coming out of it. And I really love her. I love her as a person. I love her as what she's overcome as in her lifetime, and I love what she brought to the season. So Carolyn.
All right, there we go. And here's what I will do next week. I will share the video that I have that Jam Jam took my phone at 11:45 at night, whatever time it was, 10:45 at night, took my phone and made a video telling my children to go brush their teeth. I will screen share that video and share it next week.
Yes.
No matter what, because it's delightful and I can't believe that. Yes, I will do that. And I have pictures from that night too with, I have one with Heidi. Remember, were you there, Elena, when I went to take this? Because she and I have a mutual friend, and I went to take a selfie of us, and instead I screenshotted the selfie.
I don't have that, but I have many of you and Jam Jam, which I had to I showed to a number of people like, look, I saw him. Here's him. And my friend Colleen, because I was taking pictures with him. I didn't take a picture with him myself. But yeah,
I'm drawn to people that are loud because I am loud.
We're very fortunate to have had so much, like the last 2 seasons. It's been really great to just be in a place where we see so many of the contestants, so we get to know them and just experience them.
Yeah, there needs to be something like that in Raleigh every season, because
I totally
it's the only
agree.
reason I'm going to be able to get there, unless they randomly one on like Long Island specifically, so my kids can stay there, and it's during a track out week. Otherwise, that's it.
It's been great. Like again, last 2 seasons, we've been at the right place at the right time for that kind of stuff, and
yes,
it's been super fun. So if we had any more reason to be invested in Survivor, like just the personal relationships we've made or have had a chance to engage with these players, it's been so awesome. So
super fun.
Yeah, can't wait to see what's next.
Yes. And we'll find out, although it's going to be 90 minutes, and I will go on record saying I hate that. I do.
It's a lot of notes.
Can we start it at 7:30 then, please? Can it start earlier?
Right? Wheel of Fortune or Judge Judy. We don't need them.
Exactly. All right. Anyway, thank you all for getting through this and listening. Happy to talk about this. Elena, thank you so much for stepping in for Jack and joining us tonight.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you to the patrons, especially the ones that contribute at a certain level, and that'd be Eckhart Rigner, Tack from Tokyo, Megan the Magnificent, Joanne the Planet, and the creepy poopy head mailman. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, if you'd like to be a patron, you can go to patreon.com/JayandJack. If you have any feedback for us, like Mandy had, survivorjjc@gmail.com. Okay, I don't think I've missed anything. And we'll see you all next week, next Thursday. I don't think we have a set time yet, but if you're subscribed or you're on the Facebook group or whatever, we'll put it out there so everybody knows. Okay, on that note, thanks again. My name is Colleen.
I'm Jamie.
I'm filling in for Jack.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.